Hey everybody, Dave Duford here. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. You're joining me on yet another, what is this? Scripting, role-playing, training extravaganza. Today's topic, we're going to talk about a few things. We're going to do a little bit of training with an agent of mine in Moro on policy review scripting. Very important training to be taught or to learn so that you can fact find for sales opportunities and possibly replacement opportunities. So we're going to start there, and then we should have some time because the policy review section is not too big. Frozen video? Am I frozen here? Okay, let me know. So after that, we're going to move to appointment setting and door knocking. So we're going to try our skill set at what do you do when you knock on the door? What do you do when somebody gives you resistance? What do you do when they object? As well as setting appointments over the phone. So we'll kind of see how that goes. So let me take more off the screen here. Yeah, if anybody's seeing any kind of technical problems, let me know. More, I'm going to unmute you now. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, hey, how you doing?
Good? Good, how are you?
Good, yeah. So Moro wanted to and by the way, anybody that wants to do practice scripting is more than welcome to ask me. I usually don't, I used to have to force someone's hand to do this kind of stuff. So if you want to role play with me in this kind of setting, please let me know. I'll be happy to work in, even if it's not necessarily about the particular topic at hand, just because if you're willing to put yourself on the line, I want to test you out and kind of see where I could ask you to improve. So that's why Moro's here today. He did an entire sales presentation with me, scripted. It was very well, but I think with the place we missed was the policy review section, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it was part of the thing you forgot to ask. I think that's what it was. So that's why we're here today, for retribution. Revenge presentation. Okay. Yeah. So where would you like to start in this?
I was thinking somewhere around where you told me you had it, and then kind of probe a little bit, and then kind of continue a little bit down, and just kind of dig a little bit deeper. How does that sound?
Beautiful. Okay, so why don't you start with that question, and then I'll play prospect, you play agent, and we'll go from there.
All right, great. So another question I have for you, David, is do you have an existing coverage right now?
Yeah. I've got a life insurance policy.
Oh, you do? All right. Do you know what exactly the coverage amount is that you have?
Man, I took that thing out like, Jesus, a long time ago, like a year. I don't really remember the specifics of it. No, I don't.
Am I still on?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, somebody called. Yeah, sorry about that. Yes. So you had it for a while. So, has the price ever gone up since you've had it?
No.
No, never gone up. And you said you've had it for a few years now?
About a year, maybe a little more than a year.
About a year. All right, I understand. All right. So do you remember what the company name is by any chance?
Let's see. I think it was started with a P. I don't know. Premier.
If you can't remember, that's fine. We can just go into. Okay. We just go into that a little bit later. But so another question I had is about the. So you said you have existing coverage right now. So what do you want the coverage that we're going to give you today to do, in addition to what you already have?
Yeah, I just have a feeling that prices have gone up, and I think it's worth possibly picking up some additional coverage just to make sure that I've got total peace of mind and my family's protected.
And that's exactly what I'm here for, is just to make sure that your funeral everything isn't going to be a burden on your loved ones or family members. Okay. So let me see if I can try to dig a little bit further here. So would you happen to know where the policy is? Is it in the house at somewhere? Maybe in the junk drawer or?
Yeah, the problem is I got so many junk drawers. Drunk drooler. Look at my house.
Yeah.
I got crap everywhere. What do you expect?
Yeah, no, I understand. So then, now, so are they taking the payment out of your account every month, or is it something that you have to mail into?
No, they do. They do a direct draw out of my bank. Yeah.
Oh, all right. And most banks that I'm aware of, they usually do like a monthly statement. Have you gotten a monthly statement recently that we can just take a look at just to see what the company name is?
Yeah, sure. Let me go
Just
grab it here. Here it is right
yeah.
here.
All right, great. So if you just look here, oh, Colonial Penn is the company that you have right now.
Oh, P, yeah, Penn. Yeah, the
Right.
Alex Trebek guy, right.
Yeah, the Colonial Penn insurance. Right. So now let's see if we can just make a call to the company real quick and just kind of see what you have, just so we can just make sure that what you have is enough, and just get kind of the specifics on it. That sound good?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
All right, so we're gonna call the company here, and so it says so. The lady on the line here says that you have 5,000, but you don't have any coverage right now because it hasn't been 2 full years yet. Did you know that?
No, it said I'm guaranteed accepted. What do you mean?
Right, you're guaranteed, but after you've paid into it and not had any coverage besides accidental death for the first 2 years. And actually, so I have this little sheet here from it's documentation from Colonial Penn to kind of just show you exactly what the fine print is. So see here it says not an accidental death is limited in the first 2 years
Yeah.
for premiums paid plus 10%. Yeah, so that means you basically just only have accidental coverage for the first 2 years. Like if you die any other way besides a car crash or getting hit by a bus, you're not getting covered.
So if I die right now from a massive stroke, you're telling me I'm not going to get any of my money back? I'm not going to get anything at all?
No, well, you would get what you paid into it plus a little bit of coverage. So if you had it for about a year, you're probably going to get somewhere in the neighborhood of $500 or $600 back. So I mean, that's probably not going to really be able to do much to help bury you. Wouldn't you agree?
No. I mean, geez, that's nothing. That's a bunch of crap. That's what that is.
Yeah, and so the problem is that some of these companies just don't give you all the details up front. You kind of have to go and read them through the policy with a magnifying glass and just see what's really going on.
Yeah.
So let me just go ahead and ask you a couple more questions just to see what are the programs that I have that you can qualify for, and kind of do a face-to-face kind of scenario here, just to see which one will be better, the ones that I have or the ones you have currently.
Okay.
All right. So
do you want to go through the health questions at this point, or do you just want me to critique the policy review?
No, yeah, I was about to stop right here because
Okay.
we've gone through that already.
Okay, cool. All right, so I made a bunch of notes here. So what's really good about this training, guys, is that it's really, really important to be effective in asking for the policy, getting information. You need to think of yourself as a detective, right? You're investigating what the life insurance situation is. The whole thing I hope is clear is that if you do not do this and you proceed into your sales call without knowing the facts about what the client currently has, they may be withholding that information to just kind of see what you have. And you may lose out on opportunities to close deals. You may lose out on opportunities to convert deals, replace deals, because you just simply didn't know the facts. And if you really think about it, you do need to know what the policy information is with as much accuracy as actually possible to get in order to make a recommendation that's best suited for the client. So us asking this information about existing companies is not, a high pressure thing. It's legit and it's important. So a couple of things here. One thing you're going to commonly go run into is what Maura was doing in describing the trying to find out, okay, who is this insurance that this guy's with? Many times our clients don't remember exact numbers. Even if they do, probably half the time they have more or less than they think they do. So they're very often not right, because they just, who sits there and, thumbs through their policy? I've got life insurance. I stuck it in my safe. I haven't looked at it in like 5 years, So that's how most people are. So this stuff just drifts away and out of memory. So in order to get a fair assessment, you must review and see what the policy says. But sometimes people initially are going to be like, hey, look, it's buried in the hoard pile. I don't know where it is, and that may be true. And we're going to talk about how to address that. But you need to ask for it, or actually tell them to go get it. And if they don't go get it, then you've got to resort to some of these questions. So like what Maura opened up with, as far as if you think investigation here, he asked about how long have you had the coverage? Okay. The reason we ask how long have you had the coverage, because it will help us if we're, say, a Colonial Penn or a guaranteed issue basis where there's no coverage for 2 years. And then we can say, hey, look, you are a year into your plan. If you die, you don't have natural death coverage, like what Maura and I scripted. Or, it may tell you, hey, I've had this plan for 10 years. And then when you follow up with the next question about price increases, then you find out if it's term insurance or whole life, if it's going to cancel, or if it's gone up in price. And that's the other question. Yeah. Has the price gone up? The reason we say that, because people all know when the prices go up, but they may not know that it's term insurance, right?
Right.
Yeah. So like term, whole life, these are insurance lingo terms for insurance agents. We need to describe insurance based off of the benefits or the features. Like, do you have the insurance that goes up? Have you ever had a price increase? Are you fully covered? Sometimes they don't know that, but they do know if they had a price increase. And that's a huge red flag, that it's probably most of the time a term insurance plan, like an AARP that incrementally increases every 5 years and cancels at 80. Same with the Globe. Or it might be something like Primerica, where once you reach 70, it's annual renewable term after that till age 90, and it just gets like ridiculous. So, and again, we're asking these questions because we are trying to find the underlying hot buttons to give people reasons to buy from us, and then possibly, not always, but possibly dump what they currently have for what we offer, which is hopefully a better deal. So, yeah, you asked the question about, so did they pull this information? Why did you ask that question about banking, how they pull the information out more? Was there any particular reason?
Yeah, so a couple reasons is mostly because I'll know that if they have a statement laying around somewhere, we can figure out where it is. But also,
okay,
if it was a company that accepts like money orders or something like that, then I would know kind of, if they're sending a money order, that might be a red flag for qualification.
Yeah, good, very good. So this is a, and I was thinking, like, why did he ask this question? I could just
a multifaceted kind of investigation question. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's actually a very investigative question that'll tell you a lot. More is 100% right there. So I missed that, but that was really good. So it gives you, again, when you ask for, if they have it out of their bank account, it means they probably have a bank statement. Not always, but if they don't have a statement, then do you know what you would do if they didn't have a bank statement to find the information more?
I mean, we could try to call the bank route if they would let me.
Yeah, it's a last ditch effort, it doesn't always work. Sometimes, especially in the last couple of years, the banks have really tightened up extracting like draft information off of the phone. Like sometimes
I didn't know that.
Yeah, but sometimes the smaller banks are okay, but it's always worth a shot. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So, and it's this important that you need to ascertain this information in most circumstances. Name of the company, that's obvious, right? But sometimes they remember, sometimes they don't. Maybe about 50-50. And so let's talk about how we ask for the policy information. So we don't ask, we tell the client. Okay. So, and it's assumptive in nature. So instead of saying, Mrs. Jones, do you mind if you go grab your policy so I can check it out? Not that that's bad. It's just, it could be better. This is important enough to where what you want to say is, hey, Mrs. Jones, as a part of my service, I'm required to do a free, no cost review of your existing coverage. That way I can make a proper recommendation, if at all. So now here I am asking it, go grab your policy and let's take a look at it. And you want to say all this like you're keeping your head down and you're writing, maybe you're taking notes, just say it just like it's no big deal. Okay. You've got to kind of put on an act here. Like, you don't want to trip over your words. Make this person go get their policy. Are they going to want to do that or not? You want to just say, hey, look, yeah, that's what we do. Go grab your policy, take it to me so I can help you out. And then just like it's nonchalant. Okay. Otherwise, if you ask for permission, especially at this stage, it's going to be hit or miss. Some people, it is in the hoard pile, but they know where it is. Okay. It's organized chaos. They just are too lazy to get it. They haven't been sold on why they should go get it yet, which sometimes you do have to come back around to get the policy. Like after you sell this and ask some of these questions, people are like, yeah, let me check this policy out. Let me go grab it, So
Yeah.
there's a bit of selling you got to do in order to convince them. But one way to overcome that a little quicker is just to command them to do it, obviously in a nice way.
Was it premature that I showed them the documentation from the company? Because usually we do that in step 3, but I figured it would be a good time to do it here because they don't have their policy, so I have to give them some sort of verification of what I'm saying. It's not, just something I made up.
Yeah, here's the thing. This is a great question. We teach a process, and yes, it's scripted, but there are going to be opportunities when you sense intuitively as a salesperson to capitalize on maybe relevant information. Obviously, you could argue, if you follow my stuff religiously, right, from section to section, you're selling the product or selling against the product when you really should be pre-qualifying. But I would argue that selling against the product is an appropriate way to pre-qualify here, right? It's to establish what the facts are. And if we are in the fact-finding section and we're using information that's relevant about the existing company to establish the facts, then by definition, I think we're doing fine. So, and anyways, if you notice how I was responding, I was kind of like baffled. You mean what? I don't have coverage? This is the common reaction. Yeah, when people have Colonial Penn or some 2-year wait, they're very rarely aware of where it says in the fine print that there's no coverage. So you have an instant where they're like taking a step back and they're pausing, like, what is this about? That's your cue to attack. That's your cue to go on the offensive. And you don't have to go hard close them here, but it's just like, yeah, let me show you what I mean. Check out here in the fine print of the policy, you see where it says that there's no natural, and the way they say it is it's a non-accidental death in the first 2 years. Well, that means natural death, and people will look at this and just be disgusted is the response. And that's what you want, even if it's a little earlier at this point, because you've given them new information and because they've already got coverage that you could improve on. Yeah, you should absolutely tell it to them. And then when you get to the normal step 3, just reiterate that again. So we're looking at, some people have term insurance, blah, 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 blah. Others have guaranteed acceptance. That's what you have. And again, just like I've shown you, just kind of repeat the same thing to them again. But it's absolutely 100% fine to do that. And I would figure it's more of a intuitive thing, like you probably sensed you should have done it. And that's right. That's the right thing.
Another real quick question about that. So since I did it in that section, would that mean that I would skip most of section 3?
No. They'll follow the same script. That's what I was saying there at the end. What you want to do is, let's say you get the bank information or you get the budget range that they're comfortable paying. Then you go into you want to talk about term insurance. You want them, because if they bought from Colonial Penn, that means they bought through the mail. People who buy through the mail, guess what? They buy through the mail, meaning AARP or Globe is going to send them more junk mail in the future. So you need to cut them out. So you need to do a little educational expose by the same measure that we normally do. Then when you get to the Colonial Penn section, do an abbreviated version of it. But just remind them, so the next product that's out there is called guaranteed acceptance. That's what you have, the Alex Trebek Colonial Penn program. You know how this works. I already showed you in the fine print, 2-year wait, and it's crazy. Why should people have to wait? And this is where you want to continue to add in the normal stuff, because in section 3, we're selling conceptually why someone should buy insurance from us. Okay. We're selling conceptually why our plan's better than the alternatives and the competition. Yeah. So what I mean by a conceptual sale is I want to make buying term insurance just the dumbest idea possible. Meaning, why would you take a gamble? And these are the things I say. Why would you take a gamble on your insurance? Why would you put yourself in a position to where you may outlive your coverage? And then why would you take a plan that cancels? It's crazy. You're on a fixed income. So I want them to conceptually shut down that, right? Same goes with Colonial Penn. So in this section, we still want to conceptually, propose the question, why would you want to wait for 2 years when you don't have to? This presumes that you can get them something else, which you should know by now by asking all the health questions.
Right.
But yeah, so why would you buy this? It's the only people this is right for are the, next to dead, but you're in good shape. You need full coverage because even though you're healthy, we don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. Another concept to sell, right? So you got to slam all this stuff in there just at the same at the same rate that you have in a non-replacement scenario where you didn't do a policy review. And again, you're selling and selling and selling it. And you're repeating the benefits over slightly every time. And a lot of people learn best by repetition. So don't ever shortchange a section in the selling or in the part 3 of the sales presentation, even if you sold a little bit earlier on.
Gotcha.
Let's see here. Oh, one suggestion I would make, and I think you did it. Give them a reason why to call the insurance company. And that kind of ties in what I said earlier, like, hey, just so you know, before I can make a recommendation, we should call your insurance company to see exactly what you have. So I'm not making a recommendation that's not right for you. So this looks like you're with Colonial Penn on the bank statement. Let's call them up. And then, so what do you do when you call them? So here's what every one of you should do. Put the phone on speaker. Guess who the best salesperson is in selling you? Your competition. Your competition will sell how bad their garbage policies are all day long. You don't even have to make any defamatory, insulting remarks, and you never should, by the way, of what their existing coverage is. Just the facts on their own, as you show it to them in writing and as you ask them on the phone, is enough to get a lot of people really angry. And you just sit there and you're just facilitating. But when you put it on speakerphone, what I tend to do is I'll get them to customer service. And then I'll say, hey, my name is David Duford. I'm a friend of a policy friend, not an insurance agent. I don't say I'm here to sell an insurance policy and get rid of yours, just in case. I'm a friend of so-and-so, and she asked me to help her out. To call about her coverage she has with her. And she's here on the line with her. Do you mind if I ask a few quick questions? They will tell you, that's fine. Let me get permission from the policyholder. Then they'll ask the social security number, name, confirm address. Then, okay, yes, you can. So then at that point, what do you ask as the agent or the friend, the company representative? You ask them, okay, what kind of coverage is this? Term life, whole life? They say it. How much is this a month? They'll say it. Can this ever go up in price? I would only ask if it can ever go up in price if you already know it can go up in price. Meaning, don't ask Colonial Penn, do you go up in price? Because we know it's a guaranteed issue policy most of the time. But AARP, on the other hand, could go up in price. So you'd want to ask it there.
Yeah. Does it ever cancel?
Morrow, I'm sorry, you were saying something?
Does it ever cancel?
Yeah. So is there a point when if the policyholder reaches a certain age, does it cancel? Yes. Really? When? 80. Really? It's 80 years old? You can play dumb if you want to sell it that much more. Let's What else do I like to ask? And so what happens, Mr. Jones, or Mr. Policy Company Representative, if the client dies today? What would the policyholder receive? Well, Mr. Jones, it appears since this is a guaranteed acceptance plan with no questions asked, she would only receive back what she paid in plus 7% interest. That would be the case there. So again, what is that doing? The company representatives are required to tell the truth. They're required to state the facts of the policies. And when the company is telling you and confirming all of these shortcomings that you've already identified, what does that tell you? It's the best sales technique ever. So you want to do all this to get through the mind of the client why it's so important, if it is, and it makes sense to replace their coverage for something better, especially if it's inferior. Okay. So one thing I'll say is, one thing I don't, you kind of included, but it's worth including as well. I will say something like, so yeah, you've got this, like I said, you got this. So let's say I hang the phone up. I'm getting wrapped up in the policy review section. I want to kind of sell them a little sizzle. I'm going to hold out. I'm not going to tell them everything. Not always. Sometimes I do. Just it's intuitive. But if you say like, oh man, it's so bad that you've got Colonial Penn, you shouldn't have it. Nobody should ever wait 2 years. And then you start asking health questions and you find out that Mrs. Jones is on oxygen, has congestive heart failure, takes 1,000 units of insulin a day.
Right. Yeah.
You've wasted a lot of time. And now you got to backpedal. Well, okay, well, maybe it isn't so bad to have a 2-year wait. So I may say something if I don't know if this person's healthy enough yet. And it could be you haven't gotten into health questions like in this sense. I would say, hey, look, so here's the thing. Colonial Penn may still be the best plan for you. What I want to tell you now, and we're going to get in more detail later, is there are plans that may be available that cover you 100% from the first day for natural causes. So what I need to do is ask you some questions to see if that's something you can qualify for. That way it gets kind of whets their appetite, right? Oh yeah, okay, cool. Now they're more engaged. Now they're more interested, obviously, because you've got the fix, you've got the solution, right? You're not stuck necessarily. We didn't promise. We said we may have and it's honest. It sounds weaselly, but we don't know yet, so it's the proper language to use. Yeah. Anybody got any questions for me? Mauro, any questions?
Nothing I can think of at the moment. I guess I kind of I wasn't really as smooth as I could have been, I guess, but I was just kind of
it comes
going
with time.
off the top of the head, and I wasn't really looking at the questions or anything.
That's the way it should be. It's just go back and watch this, listen to yourself, iron out the ums and the ahs and the stumbles. But I can tell you, dude, I was the same way when I started. But when you do this 100 times, then 1,000 times, it's just like clockwork. You start seeing the same thing over and over and over again. It just comes out automatically.
Gotcha.
I'll
have more questions later once we do the other part, but
yeah, let's start that now. So I'm going to put you back on mute. Thank you, Mauro. Nicola, hey, hold on 1 second. Blow my nose. All right. She says, ask if they have a bank app on their phone. Yes, that is something you can ask. That tends to be more common in the under 60 to 65 range, where people have always been glued into their smartphone. More people now than ever do have a smartphone. So it's likely that they may have a bank app, but not all of them will. But you certainly should ask, especially if they can't find the bank statement. They don't know what bank they're at, and you're trying to find some way to get the information. All right, so let me call out again. Anybody interested in doing the door knock scripting? Anybody interested in playing prospect? I need somebody that's interested. I'm going to call on somebody. It's going to be 5 times as hard if I have to call on you. want to be selfish. Yeah, more. I know. All right. I'll have you on. All right. You back?
Yeah, sorry, but I just ran into something this morning and I kind of want to go into it, but I don't want to. I don't want to take up time if somebody else wants to go. But
You want to talk about a door knocking or appointment setting?
yes, it was a door knock that I had this morning.
How
And I
about
was just
how about I'll be the agent and then you play what the prospect said to me, and then we'll kind of address how I deal with it.
great,
Okay,
great.
perfect. So
Hello, who are you?
hey, is this Mr. Jones?
Yeah, that's me. What do you hear about?
Hey, Mr. Jones, my name is Dave Duford. I am here because you had requested this information probably about a week or two ago on this postcard here. You signed here. Here's your handwriting. You requested information on our state-regulated final expense programs. And my job is to deliver the information to you. I was actually in between appointments and wanted to know if you had 5 minutes, if I could come in and show you how they work.
No, I don't remember anything like that. That might have been something my wife did. I don't, because you said somebody called me from something, and I think my wife might have done that. I don't know
Great. Okay, so
anything
your
about
wife
that.
did. So check this out here. This is if we use a direct mail card. We'll talk about how to do it otherwise. I see you listed here that you check this out. Here's your name. Your wife is Mrs. Jones. You're 70. She's 90. Whose handwriting is this? Is this yours?
No, that's my wife's handwriting.
Okay, cool. So when's your wife gonna be back?
She'll be back probably sometime later. I'm not really sure. It's probably sometime later this afternoon. I don't.
Like
Really.
3, 5, 6. When do you think would be a good bet that she's gonna be around?
Sometime this afternoon. Uh,
Okay. So here's what I'll do. I'm super busy. I've got another appointment I'm going to run to. I'm going to be back here at 6:00. She should be back by then by the sounds of it. Because she sent this information, it's best to show it to her, and then hopefully you'll be here too and I can share it with you. So I will see you guys at 6. It shouldn't take me too long. Have a nice day.
all right, sounds good.
Yeah. So off script, Maura, what questions you got?
Yeah, so basically, I'm doing telemarketing. So I was like, you spoke with someone on the 11th, and he was like, no, I don't think I did that. And I was like, he said that his wife probably did it, and I was like, you said your favorite color was red. He's like, yeah, but I don't remember doing it. I think my wife might have done that. I don't remember talking to anybody about that. So I
What's
don't know.
his
It's kind
name?
of John.
Well, was his name listed on the lead?
Yeah, it was, and it said that it wanted his beneficiary to be the wife. So
Did you play the recording?
it wouldn't come up. I don't know
Oh
what's going
no.
on.
Okay.
Yes, for some reason the recordings aren't playing, and I don't know how to fix it. I was actually going to talk to you about that later, but we
Okay.
don't talk about that right now. But anyway, yeah. So the recordings won't play for me for some reason, so I couldn't play that. So I didn't really have any other option but to just do what you did and say, hey, I'll stop back by a little bit later on.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So that's the play. So first of all, if the wife or the spouse is not there, you do not run what's called a one-legger appointment. Why is
Right.
that? Because you may convince your way into the door to see the dude, even if he actually did it. But guess what he's going to say at the end? Even if he says, I make all the decisions around here, I'm the man of the house. Yeah, this is good. Let me talk to my wife about it. That's what they're always going to say. And the problem is that the information they convey to the wife, to the spouse, is always a minority of the information you conveyed to that particular person.
Or wrong.
Or wrong. Yeah, exactly. There is a definite reduction in the quality of the delivery of the message. So it is worth saying and taking a risk and saying, hey, look, I'll be back over here at 6 just to swing by and talk to both of you in order to actually have the best chance of success. Again, I've sold maybe 2 policies in my life off of a one-legger. I can think of a couple where I did, but those are exceptions. All right. The vast majority of the people I've seen and I did a presentation with where the spouse wasn't there didn't buy. Okay. So don't think you're any different. Okay. You're going to waste a lot of energy and effort if you start pitching one spouse without the other there. Let's see what else. So one thing you want to do, and this is going to be dependent on the agent. I set an appointment with a person who allegedly filled the information out without talking to them, right? I set the appointment with the hope that they were going to be there, okay? The reason I did that is because my goal, as I think should be everybody's goal, is to have an outcome that moves the ball down the field, okay? What doesn't move the ball down the field is, oh, your wife's not here. That's okay. I'll just try another time. You know, like, okay, well, now you're at the same circumstance. And that doesn't mean you won't get it. It's one extra problem. You're just not progressive anywhere. But if you set yourself up with an appointment right out the gate, even if there's a chance that they may not be there, hey, you know, if you've got the time and you got nothing else going on and it's likely you got other leads close by, give it a shot. You know, it's worth that chance, because I can tell you, doing the one-legger, if that's the alternative, and if you could get in, most of the time is a failure. Let's see here. Anybody got questions about that door knock script? So I'll review that real quick. So the door knock script is as follows. Hey, my name is David Duford. I'm making eye contact, right? I'm sticking my hand out to shake their hand. You know, whether they leave me hanging is another thing, but I at least initiate what I think would be civil, interactions with other people. And I'm smiling, my eyes are wide, and I have an uplifted tonality, okay? I'm on stage. We're all actors in the life of selling final expense. It's no different. So you want to up your level. You want to be enthusiastic. You want to be somebody intriguing and interesting that people want to talk to. People respond in like kind. If you're, you talk mumble and this and that, they're not going to want to talk to you. Okay. So check your energy level, and, you may have to fake it a little bit, but eventually it becomes part of you, as I can tell you, because I tend to be the mumbly, monotone type of person before I got into this business. All right. So the scripting is like, you make eye contact, you reach out to shake the hand. Again, all of this is incredibly important. Most of your speaking or most of your communication is body language. It's why door knocking is superior to appointment setting. And I keep it very brief. You're Mr. Jones, right? Hey, my name is David Duford. The reason I'm here is because you sent this card in. So I show them the card. I point my finger where they signed it. You sent this card in, signed your name and your wife, sometime in the last couple of weeks, about our state-regulated final expense programs. Now, that language you use there, I want you to use the language that's in the lead, no matter if it's telemarketing, Facebook, or direct mail. Some of them say state-regulated life insurance. Some of them say state-regulated programs. Some of them say something else. Say that what's on that card, but don't let them read it. Just say, you requested this information on our state-regulated final expense programs, and kind of emphasize it. Don't roll over it too fast. Slow your pacing down. Yeah, you sent this information about our state-regulated final expense. It kind of inflected my voice a little bit more, just to demonstrate the importance of understanding what I think are the hot button words why people buy or send the card back. So after I showed them that, I say, the reason I'm here today is because I'm in between appointments, just had an appointment down the street, and found myself with extra time and wanted to see if you had 5 minutes for me to show you how these programs work. Can I come in? That is your script to get in the door. So the reason why I think is important, because maybe there's a dissonant thought of, why are you there at the door? Well, if you're just in between appointments and down the road, that's not even if the appointment's 5 hours from now, you're in between appointments, right? So you can say that, and it usually relieves people, especially if you're like, you know, hey, I'm in between appointments. I had a few minutes just to show you how this works. So you're selling the brevity of the sales presentation, that it's quick, it's no hassle. All I need is 5 minutes to show you how this works. And then you close. Can I come in? Okay. So what kind of objections do we hear at the door? Anybody want to type out some objections that we hear at the door and how to handle them? We get the objection, like, for example, Mauro said, where we, you know, well, I didn't do that. And we have to kind of fact find back and forth, review that scripting to see how I handle that. I don't remember doing that. One method to improve on the success rate of that is just say, hey, is this your handwriting? This is your handwriting, right? And if sometimes it clicks and they're like, oh yeah, I remember doing it. Perfect. Now you close. Now you try to set the appointment or get in the door. Other objections include things like, oh, I thought you were going to mail me something, or I'm busy, or I've already got life insurance. So here's how we handle everything. Again, the scripting is on the web page. You can download that. Please rehearse, practice, study the scripting. It's well worth your time. And all the objections that I most commonly hear, there's 5 of them, are listed there as well. But the process is all pretty much the same. If somebody says something like William is saying, hey, how you doing? Well, I changed my mind and I don't want it anymore. Hey, Mr. Jones, that's completely fine. A lot of people say that they, you know, looked at it and changed their mind. But the reason they meet with me anyway is because our programs are completely different than what's out there and what you get in the mail. All I need is 5 minutes to show you how this works. Look, what you do with this, let me tell you, it's up to you. I'm not here to give you a hard time. It's just my job to deliver the information. Does that sound good? Can I come in? Some kind of closing statement. So the thing about objection handling is that sometimes it's knee jerk. We don't know what they're saying, if it's actually true. Okay. Some people sometimes say things because it's like an instinctual, like lizard brain reaction, like a self-defense mechanism. But if you rebuttal it, and you rebuttal it with energy and enthusiasm, and in a way that sells that it's not a big deal, a lot of the times people will drop their pretenses and let you in, or set the appointment for that matter. Again, I always commonly use this analogy. When I had kids, I realized that, you know, dude, when my kids ask for ice cream and I say no, I'm like dead serious. I'm telling you, Dave Duford, you know, he's firm and I'm firm. But then they'd say, please. And then something happens. I didn't even see it coming. I was like, okay, whatever. And then I think about it. I'm like, why did I turn so fast on the dime? You know, I sounded pretty intimidating even when I said no. No, you can't have ice cream for the 5th time this week. Okay, I guess it's okay. So my point is that you don't know, even if it sounds like they're not interested, that they're really not interested. Always rebuttal those objections. At least twice is what I would recommend. And you may be surprised, some people just turn over. Okay, yeah, I guess so. Because now you've sold how it's not a big deal, right? Okay, a couple of things here. Oh, good, here comes the objections. I don't know why I sent that in, Dave. Hey, that's fine. A lot of people send this in because they want to really get peace of mind and not have their daughters and sons pay for their burial. I'm in between appointments. All I need is 5 minutes to show you how this works. Can I come in? So you just reiterate why they do it and then close. I have a really bad cough. So, okay. I got 4 kids, Mauro. If somebody's like, I got the flu, I'm not running an appointment. Or sometimes a cold. It depends. And the reason is that if my wife finds out I was around some sick person and I brought it home, it's going to be a lot worse than missing an appointment. So it's really up to you. If you're comfortable taking chances, say, hey, that's okay. That's not a problem. I already had the flu shot, or hey, that's all right. I already had the cold this year. I should be fine. All I need is 5 minutes. At least try. And if they don't want to do it, like, no, I'm really dying, then just say, okay, great. I'll just try on another day. That's one of those where I would, most likely just can the deal until they're feeling better. Yeah, I have the flu. I got the flu shot. It's okay. Sometimes people say, I'm eating dinner right now. Hey, that's fine. You eat, I'll talk. All I need is 5 minutes, and what you do with it's up to you, and you get back to your dinner. How's that sound? So I've heard that one. That's good too. I'm in bed with the flu, yelled through the bedroom window. These people. I am busy. Okay, beautiful. I am busy. So usually they give you some context, right? So I am busy. I've got doctor's appointments is common. Or I'm getting ready. That's fine. So what you have to hear is that I can't see you now. People are only responding to the immediacy. Oh, I'm busy. Okay, so you have to think of it like, oh, well, they're busy right now, so they won't be later. Hey, that's fine if you're busy right now. I actually work late. I can come back. Hey, it's 12:48. How about I come back at 5, or would 7 o'clock be better? All I need is 5 minutes, and look, what you do with this is up to you, and then I'll be right on my way. How's that sound? So try to reverse it like that as much as possible. And that's, just again, it doesn't matter so much why they're busy, but just hear it as they can't do it now, but they can later possibly. So make sure to ask. Coronavirus peeps, leave. Yes, we are not presenting to the next swine flu pandemic. Okay. Morrow, that's the script if you don't have an appointment. How does it change if you do have an appointment? They're getting cold feet. So you're like at the door knocking, thinking you're about to run a preset appointment, and they're like, they're giving you some kind of clap trap. I think that's what you're saying. How do you handle that? Just it's the same conceptually each time. What you need to hear are that people are resistant to salespeople. Okay, people and assume, and it's a pretty good assumption. People don't like to be sold; they like to buy, though. But the way that you get people to buy is you sell them on that you're not going to sell them. Okay, that it's a quick and casual encounter, as Stephen Burgess likes to say. And that's the thing is most people won't express it coherently that they've got sales resistance. It is an instinctual defensive maneuver that we all have. We don't think about protecting our face when, I don't know, a ball's being thrown at it and can hit us in the eye or something like that, right? It's just something you do. And it's kind of the same thing here when a salesperson is on your doorstep trying to get in the door. It's like, oh, whoa, I'm busy. But if you sell that it's not a big deal and it's cool and we're great, you're going to get some value out of this, some of those people relax and realize, okay, this guy isn't a threat. He seems all right. And the key thing too, guys, is just always rebuttal. Like I said, if you don't rebuttal, if you fold before you even fight that because you're anticipating there's going to be some kind of confrontation, you've already lost the battle. Okay. You've got to rebuttal. I had a good agent once tell me, he's like, Dave, I always anticipate an objection. Always, always, always. They're going to object. I know they're going to object. That's a good mindset to have because it won't throw you off as much when you do hear it. And you will every single day of your career. Okay. Couple other things on door knocking. I don't know if this microphone does it, but as you guys know, I do the police break-in door knock, meaning I door knock 7 or 11 times extremely hard. Okay. I'm not going to do it right now because I don't want to bust your eardrums, but I knock hard because our clients are deaf. They're old. They can't hear very well. And I think a door knock sound communicates a level of authority. If I door knock tepidly, like, well, first of all, people are going to be like, did somebody door knock? Because they're used to the ringing of the doorbell. And then they'll think about, like, what is that about? Sounds kind of sneaky. But if you're like rapping on the actual door and you do it hard, people are going to stop what they're doing and think, what is that? What is that? Now, they'll be alarmed. They'll be worried even, but they won't ignore it. Okay. And you will be heard. And then their attention is going to be that much more dialed into you, right? Because of this, banging on the door. It must be serious. So always recommend it. Sometimes our clients are playing music in the background. I had a lady like that once. We knocked on the door, didn't answer. I called her instead, and then she let us in and I sold like a pretty good deal. So always knock down the door. The sequence that I door knock is I door knock, I step back. I'm 6 foot tall. If you're a short person, if you're not as height proficient as I am, then you can stay up next to the door. I had my trainer, Andrew Fike, he's like 5'4". And what he would do, he would open the door and like stick his body in it and with the folder, like, and then they open the door. He's like, hey, this is Andrew Fike. I'm here because of this. This is kind of his personality. It's funny. But I always was low key, you know, so I step back and I'm looking inside of the, what is that called? The peephole. Okay, so here's a pro tip, all right? When you look into the peephole, it's gonna have light, most likely. When the person moves in front of it, guess what? The light goes away. That means they're sticking their eyeball out. See who it is. What do? Hey, I see you. Again, that's gonna give them a little bit more impetus possibly in answering the phone or answering the door. So when I knock and nobody answers, I usually in my mind count to 10, count to 15, and I do it again, just like this. Then I count to 10 to 15, and the last attempt that I'll try is I might try the doorbell, okay? But remember, and this is important, doorbells half the time work. A lot of the times they're broken. That's why you pound on the thing and nobody answers, okay? So that's why we door knock, because most of the time that is gonna be heard. The last time I'll say, hey, Mrs. Jones, are you there? So I'll say their name in an attempt, if they're hiding, oh, this person must know me. You know, again, we're trying to cast doubt on the resistance to talking. And then if that happens and nobody answers, I like leaving the door knock sticky notes that looks as if it's a delivery notice. Put your number on there, and when they call you back, wondering where their Amazon package is, do not answer the door, turn the car around and immediately go door knock them and say, hey, this is David Duford. I'm here because you see that little sticky note thing? Yeah, I'm here because you requested it. Then just go into your script. And most of the time, they're not going to flip out. You're thinking of some package or something. Now, if you leave a sticky note and you don't go back and they call, some of these people will call at all hours of the night. Okay, so if you don't like that, put down a Google Voice number. You should be able to port the app to your phone, and then, you know, shut it off when you don't want to hear it anymore. Moro says, do you suggest, hello, anybody in there? If you think they're annoying, they're ignoring us. Yeah, I mean, that's the same thought process with, you know, hey, Mrs. Jones, are you there? Whoever's indicated on the lead. I would do that's. I think that's a little. It's better. It's good to say something, but I think it's better to be specific, right? Because then they're like, "Oh, does this guy know me?" Versus, "Who is it?" Right? It's not every day somebody knocking on a door knows your name. So we should never leave our card in the door jamb. No. That's just not going to do anything. Most people toss it in the garbage. They're not going to call you back and say, hey, yeah, I'm so glad you called me. You came by my house unannounced. I'm so glad you're here. I'm ready to buy insurance. I've been thinking about this. I want it bad. Who does that? Nobody. So the business card to me is I give business cards to clients, not prospects. And at this point, they're a prospect. So no, use the sticky note. Use the nature of the sticky note elicits curiosity. And a phone call, which is, of course, an indication if they called it and the sticky note's at their house that they're home, right? So that's why we use it, because in other words, what I've found, I used to not leave sticky notes when I first started, but I did every single time at a door knock because I want every interaction, again, to move the ball down the field. I know if I place 10 sticky notes, I'm going to get 3 or 4 callbacks. That's good. That's great odds. Because a lot of times I'll never reach these people because I'll have other appointments or other areas to go see leads at. Yeah, I mean, Moro, never give our cards to unqualified suspects. Yeah, I mean, I don't really see a reason to. It's just a waste of money, right? In my opinion. You don't have to. I mean, it's like business cards, marginal. It's not like some big expense, right? So it's just kind of a personal thing. Or just grab that thing back if they don't buy us. That's what else you can do. Just give me that. Couple other things about door knocking. You got a front door, you got a side door. Where do you door knock? I'll tell you, you door knock the side door. And a lot of houses in America, you don't go through the front door, all right? You go through the side door. Now, if the side door leads to a garage, sure, maybe not. But if the side door is like, it leads into the kitchen like a lot of our clients, that's a perfect place to door knock. Because a lot of the times people can tell if it's a solicitor because they door knock the front door, right? It's a common ploy. Some people think that's how they delineate on who they're going to answer and when. So always try this front door only after you try the side door, okay? Would you go around the back? I might. It depends. If I see a fence and I see a giant pit bull, no. I do not want to get eaten today. I've had some pretty close encounters. So, and that kind of speaks to that too. If you're worried about animals or dogs, don't be worried. You know, don't. Some dogs are okay, but sometimes you just never know. I mean, I've been bit 3 times, but they were even in presentations. They weren't on prospecting attempts. But I've had close calls where I had like a pit bull right up in my crotch, and I thought, you know, my baby making days are over. And luckily, it got called off, and I survived. I've had ones where the dogs are, you know, they're behind. I had one dog that was stalking me, and it was like reincarnation of Cujo. I don't know how I got out of that one alive, and I had no idea the dog was there. So if you see beware a dog sign and you don't feel comfortable because you got to go through a fence or something, please don't. It's not worth it. Other things you can do: lay on the horn, honk your horn to death. Maybe they'll answer the door then. If you're feeling frisky, go to the fence, rattle the fence, okay? Because dogs usually come running once they hear the fence, right? So that's another way you can do it if you're feeling a little more, I don't know, willing to take a chance. Let's see what else. Door knock, sticky note, little things like in certain areas, I'll park my car in the driveway. I'll leave my car on. If you're in an area where it's high crime, don't, okay? I'd leave my car on and my door open because I believe if my client's peeping out, then they're going to think I'm not there permanently and be a better chance to answer door. Some people say wave at the window, hey, when you're getting out of your car, like I see you, I got to answer the door now. So, yeah. Again, I'm just trying to wrap up our call here on the door knocking. If there's anything else we need to do. Yeah, I think that's about it. Anybody got any last questions for me? Let me answer William's question here and then we'll wrap it up. You go back and they left a note by your note that says leave the package at the door. Do you leave another sticky note? No. You don't leave anything at that point. I might just try them again later. I might put another sticky note out a couple of days later, right? But no, I wouldn't leave another one at that point. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being on the call today. That's okay, Maura. I appreciate you playing prospect. You benefited the most because you got to test your script out. So that's always the benefit. And I know everybody else benefited too from hearing it. So if anybody has any questions, holler at me, give me a call, text me, email me. I'll be around. I've got a ton of calls today, but if you call me, try following up with a text message. I'm usually a little faster that way. And I will put this recording up probably within the next couple hours, and it'll be in the group me. All right, guys, y'all take care. Thank you. See you. Happy Valentine's Day.